Welcome, everybody. You have arrived. We are going to be talking about AI for brokers and lenders and TPO partners. PRMG is proud to be one of the top wholesale and correspondent lenders in the nation. And this is our gift to you to make sure you know what's happening in the world of technology. This call is being recorded, and after we are done with the presentation, we will upload this to YouTube. So for those of you who have conflicts or other team members who weren't able to attend, and then I'm sure someone from the PRMG team will put the link to our PRMG YouTube channel if you're not already following us, as well as how to follow PRMG TPO on our brand new Facebook and Instagram page. So we are happy to have you here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Just some housekeeping items. We just ask that you keep yourself on mute, but there is a Q&A button at the bottom of Zoom if you think of anything that you want to share, or questions that you have. We encourage a lively conversation. Yep, we're going to put a link to our YouTube channel and our social media shortly. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, why are we talking about this? Well, this is really all about time. Uh, Money comes and goes, right? I'm sure anyone who's been in the mortgage business for more than a few seasons understands we've made tons of money and we've also lost it all. So money comes and go, but time uh, is something you cannot make more of it. In that way, it is actually more valuable than money. So what can actually create time? Well, automation and efficiency can create time. And AI can provide automation at scale. So once you figure out a way to be more efficient and automated, how do you replicate that and scale those activities? Want to be very upfront. AI is not a substitute for sales skills. AI is a tool to give you time. Your ability to make relationships with your clients, your real estate agents, your referral partners will always um, be more valuable and very hard to replicate using AI. That's not the point of this. This point is not to replace salespeople, it is to make you more efficient. And let me explain what I mean. This is a chart, you've probably seen some variations about this, about tracking the weekly activities of a typical loan originator or a salesperson in any industries. And study after study shows that most sales professionals spend only 20 to 30% of their time doing actual sales generating activities, such as, sitting down with a real estate agent, converting leads and building relationships. But they're actually spending 70 to 80% of their time doing non-producing sales activities. So that could be chasing down conditions, that could be attending meetings, that could be a training session just like that, which is stuff we have to do. There's no way to avoid doing the administrative and non-sales generating activities, but my goal is to maximize that actual revenue money making activities and decrease that sort of administrative. So examples that I have seen working in this space in my career. Um, manually manually inputting data and typing notes, using technology that's not fully integrated, sending repetitive emails. I met an originator who every time it was somebody's birthday, she would hand type happy birthday and send it out one at a time. That is not a revenue generating activity, and that is something you can absolutely scale. Logging into social media platforms one at a time. This is something that you can scale. Using social media without engaging or posting. creating graphics and media without using templates, and creating loan scenarios inside of Excel. So we see this a lot. There's a lot of really sophisticated technology to give you loan scenarios and things that presentations. I'm sure you have software that you can think of that you use that will help with that. The job of an originator is to originate loans. That is the number one thing that your commissions are based on. That is why you are hired. The job of AI is to scale and automate activities that maximize your opportunities, build your business, and give you back time. Okay, so let's talk about what AI. This recording right now, for those of you who are watching this in the future, this is as of April 2025. I am not going to touch on the future of AI, what's going to happen 5 years from now, what the scientists at IBM think it should be in the year 2060. That is not relevant to mortgage originators who are living day by day, rate change by rate change. You need to know what you can actually touch, feel, and type right now. So let's talk about where AI is today. The first thing that I want to introduce you to is that AI has actually been around since the 1960s. This is not brand new. You've actually been using and interacting with AI for many, many years. It's a part of your life and you may not even realize it. So for example, I would be willing to bet if I took a poll that almost every single one of you has used one of the following three you see on the screen: Google, Siri, or an Alexa in your home. I know I use all three of those every single day. We're huge into home automation. Google is everywhere on every device, and Siri, for those of you on an iOS system, helps out. These are technologies have been using machine learning, predictive analytics, AI, and all of those different pieces for a long time. And there's other pieces of it that you might not even think of. And this graphic I thought was really interesting. Your robot vacuum that can understand objects around your house. If you have a Nest thermostat that intelligently changes for energy efficiency. Autonomous driving cars. They just announced this is going to be rolled out in the Los Angeles market next year. Um, Online shopping and advertisings. We all have heard the memes about, oh, I was talking about this certain thing, and then all of a sudden I started getting all these ads on Facebook, on Google for the thing that I was just talking about. How did they know? I'm going to be that person. Your phone is not listening to you. That is just how sophisticated the algorithm is. The data and the intelligence that it's able to collect from studying millions and billions of human interactions and behaviors, that is AI in action. They don't need to open up your microphone. They already know. We also see this with web search. We see this in even the world of agriculture, in the terms of industry, all sorts of different pieces of it. So this is not new. This has been around for a really long time. So your first introduction to AI may have been an AI assistant. And you probably looking at this screen, you recognize some of these logos. So Gemini is Google's answer to AI. ChatGPT is backed by Microsoft. Claude is backed by Anthropic, which is part of Amazon. Perplexity has been receiving funding from Jeff Bezos, the Y Combinator, and all sorts of different places. So once again, we're seeing all of sort of the tech giants take their swing at different AI solutions. So let's talk about these. This particular chart that you see up on the screen, and I apologize, I am a little under the weather today, so I'm drinking some tea to bring you my best. Okay, this chart on the screen was actually created by a blogger who has done extensive testing. This is as of March 2025. And there's a lot of opinions here, but I think what's valuable is if you look at for the gold stars for where these AI platforms shine, and you look at the red X's for where they're having trouble. So you can see that each of these AI platforms have different strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with Perplexity. So Perplexity is really great for web search. One of the things that we noticed when we started first using ChatGPT, bright new shiny toy, is that it would give you a lot of answers that were wildly incorrect or just kind of nonsense. So Perplexity came on the screen. So when you started to ask it questions, it would give you an answer, but you can see in this tiny screenshot here, it would start to cite answers with these numbers after it, and it would also show all of its sources. Really important. So if you asked it a question where you wanted it to do some research, you can actually read the source materials, which I encourage you to always do to make sure it's more accurate. So Perplexity is a way to get it right. So instead of just taking whatever it's saying at face value, you can dig a little bit deeper and get a very thorough research. The other thing that it can do is it can provide images and videos related to your query. So it will look, and we'll talk a little bit about this later, multimodal pieces. So it can show you different reference points. So it doesn't just have to be a blog post or a website. It is searching the entirety of the digital world to provide you answers. It can also generate images as well. Okay, the OG of them all is ChatGPT. This is part of OpenAI. 94% of all AI usage is going through ChatGPT. My theory is that a lot of startups and new companies that are on the scene, they are using ChatGPT as the backbone and putting what's called a wrapper around it. So it's not really you or I searching ChatGPT, it's other companies who are using it in the back end to power what they have. So that's why you're seeing a lot of that traffic. One of the things that ChatGPT has done is it has evolved dramatically. So I taught a class on AI last year, about 13 months ago, to PRMG employees in a closed door meeting. And we were testing it out, and it was okay, still felt kind of gimmicky. But if you use it today, it is night and day improvements over what it was. And where it shines the most is actually in voice. They have an app you can download. It's completely, you can use it in your car and you can have conversational chat with it. You can even interrupt it. You can ask it to clarify or repeat what it just had. It's really great if you want sort of a hands-free experience or if you want to brainstorm, kick around different ideas for using it. Really, really impressive technology. The other one that kind of surprised me was Claude. I'd heard about Claude for a long time for what it was able to do in terms of writing and coding. And I should have prefaced it, every single thing that I'm showing you today is something that I have personally used and tested. There are hundreds and hundreds of AI tools, but I wanted to curate just the ones that I thought would be relevant for this particular group, as well as ones that I have personal experience with. So Claude, one of the things that it does, and you can see in this screenshot, it actually pulls out a second pane. So you can have two separate pieces going on simultaneously. You can ask it to write and create emails or websites or blogs or whatever you would like. And then you can also ask it to generate images and to code. And it will actually create the code in the other window. And this is fully responsive coding right before your eyes. So if you are working with a team that's loading content into a CRM and is trying to manually code emails, it will design tables, it will add special formatting. It does incredible things on this. The writing is actually also what makes Claude really special. The style is really easy to read. It's very engaging. However, warning, it is not Perplexity. Okay, so Perplexity is all about sourcing and fact checking. Claude is about what will make the best written material. So I had asked it, give me 10 testimonials about why PRMG is great, and it made them up. They were so realistic, I thought they were real until I actually investigated. And I asked it, are these real? And they were like, no, they're just samples. So I wouldn't use this for fact checking or trying to create like real hard data points. But if you're looking for something that's very persuasive or engaging, or if you don't know anything about coding, really impressive. Claude also has a lower um, limit on how much is free before you hit the paywall. At the end of this presentation, I will include how much everything costs and all of the links, but I will tell you everything that I showed you today was free. It all has a free trial. You can all, because we're at the very beginning of this revolution, so they're just trying to attract users. There's nothing that was really behind a paywall that you couldn't try out before you buy it. And if you find that it's really valuable, most of them have a monthly subscription anywhere from $15 to $30 a month, depending on what you want to use. Okay, and then Gemini. I'm sure all of you have noticed when you start to Google on your web browser, particularly if you're doing it on a computer, that the top two-thirds of the screen are all AI. And so you could ask it, is this a good time to buy a home? And you'll see most of the page will be dominated by AI generated results. The problem with this is that now it's pushing all of our web traffic below the AI, and more people are getting the answers they need, which is called a zero click. They don't even bother clicking on anything. They just see what Google says, and great, I'm done with the browser. I move away. I got the answer I needed. This has actually created a massive problem for us as mortgage professionals. For those of us who have been working in the field of SEO, trying to get clicks to our website, trying to get clicks to our landing pages, it is actually being cannibalized by AI search. I was part of a closed door meeting with financial professionals talking about AI, and they had interviewed the head of marketing for US Bank. He had said that a ton of their website traffic and leads came from when someone Googled, what is a bank routing number? It just so happened that US Bank had a page on their website that says, here's what a bank routing number is with information. And that query alone was enough to generate tons and tons of hits that would result in people taking a mortgage application. With Google AI, Google scraped that information off of US Bank and many other sources. And now, when someone queries it, Google shows an image and gives the information. And the link to US Bank is buried way, way below. They said that they had lost 70% of their web traffic. Studies came out, I read one just this morning, that most websites have lost 20 to 30% of their overall web traffic because of AI. Now, Google will not publicly tell you that because they want us to all get very excited about this, but it means you need to think differently. And I will congratulate those of you who are here, and I know it's a Friday, to learn on this, because those of you that are paying attention today will be able to outpace and out originate those who are falling asleep on this. So, what is the solution? There is a new industry that has taken shape, which I'm personally very interested in, called GEO. So, SEO is search engine optimization, GEO is generative AI engine optimization. So how do I make sure that I capture some of that traffic when people search on AI, whether it is Perplexity or ChatGPT or Grok or any of these other sources? How do I outsmart it and get to the top? Well, based on the experiments that we have been doing here in PRMG, here's what I think is working. This is a chart. This was actually generated by AI, and I'll show you how I did that in just a second, that shows the different purposes of AI. So predictive AI is demand forecasting. So you want it to look at patterns that have happened in the past, feed it a ton of data, and then it will learn. Assistive AI is a lot of the systems we already talked about. Conversational AI is chatbots. That's where you see NLP, natural language processing, LLM, large language models. And then generative AI is most of what you're seeing in the media right now. And there's all sorts of different flavors of this, depending if you are doing architectural data or 3D rendering or density modeling. But what I wanted to call your attention to, which is why I highlighted it in red, is multimodal AI. Multimodal is just a fancy word for all the things. Multimodal means AI is not just reading a string of text, it can also interpret and ingest images, text, video, documents, and files. And it can also produce those as well. So why is this important? Well, it turns out, and I've highlighted it in green, that the images and video are actually ranked higher than text. Let me give you an example. This has actually happened to PRMG twice. So when you search the phrase, and I did this just last week, um, is me buying avocado toast the reason that I can't afford a home? Well, it just so happened that I had recorded for our PRMG YouTube channel, which is in the chat. I had recorded a YouTube short that was titled, Is Buying an Avocado Toast the Reason That I Can't Buy a Home? And because Google owns YouTube, it uses the video search for a way to tie it into AI. So AI would rather serve video and images than text. So YouTube Shorts will actually help you rank #1 on Google, and this continues to happen. Now, what's even crazier about this particular clip is that title was generated by AI. We use an AI video editor, and you can do the same thing. You can actually ask AI to teach you how to show up in AI ranking. I know it's a little bit of the thing eating its tail, but right now, AI is pretty dumb. It's what's called weak or narrow AI, and it's not quite sophisticated enough to understand this. So you can actually create YouTube Shorts, social media posts that are very pointed to the type of queries that people are putting inside of Google, and you can be included in AI. And like I've said, I've seen this happen multiple times where we are able to rank first in Google just by the way that we are titling and the descriptions that we are using. It is looking for rich matches. And they know most people have very short attention spans. They don't want to don't want to sit and watch a 20-minute video, but I'll watch, this one was 55 seconds. That's a little long, but they'll watch something. The shorter, the better. And they're also able to understand the transcription and understand anything that was spoken in the video. Okay, all of this is dependent upon prompt engineering. Now, that's a weird phrase. I had never heard of it a year ago. Well, that's not true. It was very new to me a year ago. I'm sure many of you are like, what a weird thing. There's actually job titles now for hiring prompt engineers. And let me explain what that means. This is the most important thing you need to learn in order to use AI. If you are able to write a good prompt, the doors open up for you. If you write a prompt that says, write me an email that will increase my business, you are not going to get anything good. It's going to be generic, it's going to be ineffective. But if you write a very detailed and precise prompt, you will get things of value. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. So as I was mentioning earlier, there are different types of AI. And the type of AI that you hear about is strong AI or super intelligent AI, where it's able to understand your emotions, it's able to predict things, it's able to be very intuitive and fluid. It does not exist. It is purely theoretical, and if anyone is selling you something or pitching you something that it is smarter than a human, it does not. Now, this is April 2025. Who knows? Maybe next month this will change, but as of today, we are dealing with weak, narrow AI. It can only do what it is told. It has limited intelligence, and it is still learning. So you need to know how to wield that weapon in order to use it because it's not smart enough to do it on its own yet. So I'm going to give you a couple of ways to approach this. RTF. This is, I want you to act as a top performing loan officer in New Jersey. Task, I want you to think of three great text messages that I can send my database that will get them to reach out for a refinance. Framework, what is the format? I want these messages to be no more than 200 characters in length and to also include a link to my website. Okay. Let me show you this in action. So here's an example. Role, I want you to act as a loan officer. Task, I want you to create a list of 15 mortgage facts and 15 myths. Format, I want a column on the left to be facts and the column on the right will be myths. And then after it gives you that, you can say, I want you to make this sarcastic, or I want you to include bullet points, or I want you to make it less wordy. So you can keep interacting with it, right? So who do you want me to act as? What do you want me to do? What do you want the format? Let's get a little fancier. You can also do rise. Same start. I want you to act as a certain role. Here is the input. Here's the context and details you need to know. S, these are the steps I want you to follow. And E, this is the expectation or the outcome of what I want to see. So role, same idea. I want you to act as a loan officer. I, input. I have about 1,000 leads from the last year and a half for potential homeowners in Florida. They're interested in Govy and conventional loans. S, I want a step-by-step content strategy based on the above. Create a calendar with 5 social media posts a week. And E, expectations. My goal is to increase engagement. So I want more clicks, I want more conversations on my social media because I want people to download my app and I want you to position me as a thought leader. Okay? So these are different ways that you can use this. Now, here's the genius part. And I did this today just to make sure it's nice and fresh for you. You can ask AI to write the prompts. So this is exactly what I wrote in ChatGPT. Write 3 great prompts for a top producing loan officer who wants to use AI to build their business better and attract more real estate agents. I don't know how to write a prompts. I want AI to tell me how to write the prompts. And this is what it spit out. This is verbatim. So it said, okay, well, one idea is content marketing. I want you to act as a loan officer and give me 30 days of content for a social media calendar. Focus on education, collaboration, and market insights. So what I could do is actually copy that and tell it, then ask ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever you want, ask it to do that. And you can even say, I want you to put this in a table format, or I want you to include these details. So it will tell you how to write the prompt. Here's another example. I want you to write 5 high converting personalized email templates for a loan officer can use to reach out to top real estate agents. Each email should highlight a unique value proposition, the fact I can do co-branded marketing, I close really fast, and also include a compelling CTA, call to action, for a meeting or call. You could do that as well. So you could literally just copy that, or you could use that as inspiration and maybe, add more details or stuff like that. And here's the third one, automation. I want a AI-powered follow-up system that nurtures relationships with automated text, emails, video messages. Give me the scripts, the timing, and the personalization strategies that will not make it seem robotic. And when I asked this, AI then said, do you want to see any more of these in detail and actually run it for you? So you can have AI get you started with the feeling of prompt. Great question in the chat. Is the initial prompt the most important? No, absolutely not. The amount of stuff that I put in AI that I'd use for testing, and it still works just fine. So you can just start playing with it, get comfortable with it. ChatGPT has a lot more queries you can ask before you hit a paywall. So as a beginner, you may want to start there to just get used to how you talk to it and how to do prompts. But wait, there's more. I then said to it, well, what questions should I be thinking of and giving you to make this prompt even better? And it says, well, if you want this prompt to be even better, you should tell me who your ideal audience is, what social media channels you want to prioritize, what the content should focus on, what you want the tone to be, and what kind of content. Or if you're doing the personalized outreach, what's your unique value proposition? What makes you personally so great? Do you have any testimonials? What objections do you normally see? And if you're doing automation, what technology are you already using? How often do you want to follow up? What kind of messaging would you want? And are you just doing real estate agents or are you doing other folks? So you can actually have AI teach you how to use AI. But this is a great place to start if you want to start experimenting with prompts. Okay, so now that we understand prompts and we understand AI can teach us about prompts, now let's get into the fun stuff. Okay, images. For this experiment, I used OpenArt. It can generate graphics based on a prompt. I'm sure you've seen this, show a cat playing a guitar, and there it goes. It gives you a cat playing a guitar. Um, I found it didn't work really great when you use people or text. But this one, I said, show me a laptop with energy all around it and on it because my computer's on fire because I'm doing such a great job today. These are the images that it came out with. You can also ask it to give you different artistic styles. Caution. So the art that you see on the screen was when I used Canva for AI art. And you can see some really horrific images in terms of people or text. So this is when not all AI platforms are alike. Because if you switched over to the newer version of ChatGPT, you can see it is a little bit more accurate and it doesn't have that same problem with text. So this is actually a class that I'm doing next week for our Riverside County, California, which is where I'm based. I'm doing a class for real estate agents. So I asked it to give me a couple of flyers, and you can see the text was very accurate. And it is also included, AI images and stuff like that. So then it asked me to upload a photo of myself, logos. It asked me follow-up questions so you could personalize it. And then I was like, oh, change the color of my jacket out of time. So I was able to customize it more. So I would say for images, based on what I'm seeing, ChatGPT seems better, but it's still not perfect. If you upload a logo or a headshot, it does distort it. But it's certainly better than some of the other systems that we are seeing. So use caution when you're doing images in AI. Okay, infographics. So that infographic I showed you with types of AI, I've used a couple of infographics in here that I use using napkin.ai. So you can see up at the top of the screen on the left, that is the prompt that I used. So this is where high performance mortgage sales playbook helped me map out key sales techniques. And then it gave me sort of this visual graphic. And then over on the left, it has different styles and things that you can do. And then you'll see you can customize charts and colors. And what's cool about this is that once you've done it, you can click on the text and you can change it. So if you've got something that you want to visualize, even if you're doing mortgage, um, payment scenarios or ways that you could save, you could do all of this stuff right there. Right now, this is a brand new system. They have no paid model. It's 100% free because it's in beta. So really cool if you're going to be doing presentations or anything like that. Okay. Looka. I know many of you are operating at, it may just be a one-man band or you're operating in a smaller shop, and you want to modernize your logo. So this is a free software where we'll actually show you logo samples that you can click to get a feeling for what kind of vibe you're looking for. I pretended that I was a fictional mortgage company called the Loan Guru. I said I wanted pictures of housing incorporated in my logo. I had a tagline, always closing on time. And then I answered a style questionnaire and it gave me, and this actually went on forever, different logos. These are just some of them that I picked. So if you are looking for logo ideas, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we were looking at Fiverr, right? Where was a way to do this at scale? But now you can do this and get lots of ideas, which I think is really cool. Okay, Gamma. Um, so PowerPoint presentations, Google Slides, they're not everybody's bag. I've been doing this a long time. I love doing a good PowerPoint, but she stands alone there. Introducing Gamma. So Gamma can help you with PowerPoints, and it's really easy. You could just put in a single sentence. I want a PowerPoint presentation introducing myself to real estate agents in the New Jersey area, showing how great I am, right? And you can say, I want it to be 3 slides long, and it will generate it. You can see over here in the screenshot, it will ask you different styles that you like. It'll even include generated art. You can say if you want more text or less text. I've seen this used for client presentations, new referral partners. The free version allows you to go up to 10 slides, but you can pay more if you want. But this is kind of a cool way to, if you just want like a quick presentation. Audio. Audio is really interesting. One of the leaders in this is 11 Labs. There are actually a lot of other companies that just work off of their framework. If you want to do a voiceover, let's say you're doing a podcast introduction or you would just like some voice, you can use the text to speech where you can type out what you want it to say and it will actually say it in a voice of your choice, which I probably should have done for today. Or you can do speech to text, where you can have it listen to an audio file and it will transcribe it for you. It can do a voice changer. It can do dubbing into multiple languages. So if you wanted maybe an English and a Spanish version. It can also do text to sound effects. That's SFX. So you could say, I want a sound of a door opening with people cheering. You would just type that as a sentence and it will generate the sound for you. And it can also do voice cloning. So this is a really interesting thing if you want to experiment with voiceovers or you need a voice file in any way. The other one that we've been using at PRMG is Riverside.fm. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, most sort of world-class podcasting platforms are using Riverside. Now, if you have a beautiful podcast studio in your office with the mics and the soundproofing, God bless. If you're working remote or talking to people all over the world, like I am to you right now, this is a great way to capture high quality stuff that includes AI transcription and editing. What makes Riverside different than Zoom is right now, I am recording this based on the quality of my internet connection. And if you were to talk, it would all go to Zoom and it would do a highly compressed file. So when we're done with the call today, I'll have a file, but the video won't be as crisp, the audio won't be as sharp. Whereas Riverside, you'll have independent feeds that will come in, each from each person's separate connection. So you could flip back and forth in terms of camera angles. It is ultra high quality and allows for more sophisticated editing. And of course, you can use this for your YouTube channel, for your social media, or anything like that. It's a really cool platform. Video. Video is very important for those of you who have been to my other classes that I've taught for our brokers and lenders. We've talked a lot about social media and video. One of the most interesting ones that has come on the screen is Hey Gen. And all of these screenshots that you see on the right, these are actually AI generated avatars. So these videos are unbelievable. They look indistinguishable from humans. So you'll see mannerisms, you'll see head noddings, hand gestures, hesitation, filler words. I actually have been fooled by HeyGen multiple times. There is a CMO at another mortgage company that I'm dear friends with who posts on LinkedIn. I've been liking their videos and commenting. And I met him at an event and he said it was actually used by HeyGen. I spent 10 minutes recording videos of myself saying sample sounds and tilting my head this way and that way, and they were able to reproduce him as a video avatar. He would ask ChatGPT for a video script, feed it in there, it would produce the video, and it would look like he was saying the videos. He is spent a lot of time working on the lighting and the sound in his own personal studio. So it was not with zero effort, but the applications of this are very interesting. If you wanted to try doing videos at scale, it would be something to experiment with. You can also use multiple languages. So if you recorded a video that introduced yourself as a loan officer, getting started with the loan process, you could actually have it dubbed into multiple language. There are other video players in the space, and there are many, many other tools that I'm not covering here. Synthesia, which I've used in the past, not quite as sophisticated as HeyGen, but interesting there. And message in the Q&A, HeyGen's too complicated. Some of this stuff is. Some of this stuff is. And when you get into video, there is certainly a learning curve. Now, if I put on my marketing director hat and I'm speaking to you and teaching you how to grow your business, I'm always going to pitch authenticity. I'm always going to say a video of you, holding your phone, walking around your office, talking about a day in the life will always get you more engagement than something that looks overly produced or canned. But this is something I get asked a lot because a lot of the loan officers that I coach, they have problems even getting on camera. They're very shy and they're worried about it, so I didn't want to present it for you. But if you can build that muscle up to do your social media and your videos, you'll get better results. Okay, video editing. This was the breakaway star last year for AI tools that changed our business, and that is Opus Clip, Opus.pro. So what Opus can do is it can ingest a video file, such as this class. I could actually put this entire class into Opus, and I could ask it, chop this into clips that are less than 30 seconds, and it will look for the clips that are the most viral. So you can see these little numbers in the screenshot, 99, 94, 78. So it is ranking the different clips that it was able to find in the long video by how viral it think it will go on social media. It will edit out pauses, filler words, and then it transcribes it scary good. It's able to understand proper names, company names, all sorts of different things that you say. Almost every single video that I post on my personal LinkedIn channel or you see on the PRMG YouTube channel or PRMG LinkedIn, I hope you guys follow us, is used with Opus. It's a huge time saver. versus trying to handwrite captions for everything or just try to edit sound clips, and it just speeds up and scales video editing, which is really cool. You can also change the aspect ratio. So you can see on Zoom how I'm sort of this horizontal box. You can ask it to edit it so it is like this, right? So it would look like I'm holding a phone, which is with the new changes on Instagram where they changed the grid. It used to all be squares. Now it's all vertical because everyone's trying to beat out TikTok. That also helps, but you can change it back. You can make it square. You can make it all sorts of different shapes. You can add watermarks, all kinds of different stuff. Okay, administrative efficiency. How do we stop doing the non-sales, the non-revenue generating tasks? One of the things we've been experimenting with at PRMG is Microsoft Copilot. And this is example I'm showing you how it looks in Outlook, but it's also available in the entire Microsoft suite, whether that's Excel, if you want it to find a data point, in Microsoft Word, if you want help writing a document, PowerPoint, any of the Microsoft things. So one of the things that's really cool is it can actually, you can chat with your inbox. So if you're anything like me, I have more emails than a human being can read. So I could use Copilot to say, hey, are there any action items that I got in the last week? And it will actually scan every email that I've received in the last week and break down all of the things that people have asked me to do or that I have committed to do. Ooh, is that a scary list? So long. Or ask me anytime someone in Microsoft Teams mentioned my name and I need to take an action. Or find this file or find this email. Now, if you're anybody like me, Microsoft Outlook search is one of the worst searches in the planet. You can never find an email again, but Copilot allows you to say, hey, I got an email from John. I think it was like February last year. And then it can use AI assisted search. Copilot is usually only available at an enterprise level, which would mean if your company decided to purchase it, it is a crazy expensive. So we're only using this at a limited scale at PRMG. We want to make sure we can prove the use case, but I wanted to show you what it looks like as part of the pilot. Okay, and then personal email. I wanted to give out a call out to a piece of tech I've been using for many, many, many years called Spark. There are tons of other email clients that are out there, but this has really given me my productivity back. I have many different email addresses that I've collected over the years, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, .Mac, everything, and I'm able to feed all of them into Spark, and it organizes my inbox. So only the stuff that's coming from a family member or, an urgent bill that I need to pay or stuff that I need to pay attention to is starred up at the top, and everything else is collapsed either into a notification or what it considers a newsletter. So I'm able to see exactly the emails that are important to me, and then it just sequesters the rest into a different section. Hugely beneficial if you've just got way too much email to comb through. And then you can also go through the notification or the newsletters on your own pace. The version that I have is free. They do have a paid version if you want AI assistant writing emails, but it can just be nice so you're not spending a ton of your time just sifting through a lot of junk that's in there. Unless it's an email from PRMG, and then you should absolutely star that and read it right away. Okay, meeting notes. If you look up at the top of Zoom, which we're all in right now, you will notice next to the red recording button, there's a white sparkly star. And that's in the screenshot here. That shows you that Zoom AI has turned on. This is amazing. So what it does is it actually allows you to interact with the Zoom, if you also have Zoom, where you can say, hey, catch me up. So if you are running a half an hour late to a meeting, it will let you know, summarize everything you missed. You can ask it, hey, did anyone mention my name while I was gone? It will also give a transcription emailed to the host of the call after the call is over, where it will give action items. And because if we look at the gallery view, you can see all of your names on the screen. It knows who is speaking. So it is able to say which action item belonged to which. Sketch is a scheduling app. If you have problems scheduling with people, it will actually use AI and have conversations back and forth with all the parties involved to find an appropriate time to meet. What a lifesaver. And I just looked at the time, so I'm going to go a little bit fast here. Support. We've been using at PRMG a system called Capacity, which we white labeled as Moby. And this will actually uses a large language model of every question that's ever been asked to answer questions. And we use this a lot also to support our brokers and our TPO partners by using questions that people have asked before. So this is really, really helpful. And in the past, we've just gotten tons of emails and maybe, our response times aren't as good. So this allows us to respond faster and with more accuracy. Okay, let's talk about social media. Social media has had a huge benefit from the use of AI, and there's a lot of different platforms that do this. One that we've used here at PRMG is Sochi. You can write captions with AI. You're not sure what to answer. You can also use AI to schedule times, and it will actually look at traffic, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram and LinkedIn, and predict when the right time for your message is to go out. The other system that we use is Social Coach. So Social Coach will use AI for compliance monitoring as well as video scripts. It will give specific hook ideas. And if you are actually a approved broker with PRMG, you can get access to Social Coach for free, which is huge. So if you haven't tried this and you want a social media system where you can schedule, it will post on your behalf, you can have upload videos, you can get video script ideas, I highly encourage you to talk to your account executive about getting an account. We absolutely love this system. And then Bird Eye. This is a system that uses AI for reputation management. And there's a lot of players in this space, but this will actually give AI responses to reviews, and it will analyze sentiment analysis for positive or negative patterns to say, hey, every time we see the word pay stub mentioned in a review, it's usually with someone who's really upset. So maybe that's something you need to look at in your process as a business to say, okay, what are we doing in terms of ingesting pay stubs that's slowing down the loan process? So this can be very helpful. Okay, leads. One of the systems that we've been working with is Model Match, and there's lots of players in the space, MMI, Redder. Model Match, I think, is a little bit more sophisticated in terms of their tech timeline. And the thing that I thought was the most interesting is Pulse AI. Pulse AI will show you, by using AI, how you are connected to people that you want to meet. You can also export a ton of leads into your CRM, which is really nice. So it will analyze people that exist. So real estate agents that you don't know, that you've never worked with before, and it will show you, okay, you did a deal on a loan for John. John bought the home using an agent named Susie. Susie also was the listing agent on another property, and that property had a buyer agent for Carlos. And if you want to get to Carlos, instead of calling up, hi, I'm a loan officer, I'd like your business, like they get all the time, now you can say, oh, you actually were the buyer's agent on the property on 123. You worked with a good friend of mine named Susie. I've worked with her for years. I thought, what a funny coincidence. I just wanted to talk to you. That's a way warmer intro than just a regular cold calling lead. So it allows you to create kind of this spider web effect of your entire network so you know exactly who to contact. Now, the next question is, sometimes you'll be able to find their phone number and email, but sometimes you won't. So that's where you can use systems like Clay. So Clay uses data enrichment, where you could link this with an automated system. You could import it from a CSV spreadsheet, and it will actually enrich the data with phone numbers or emails pulling from multiple sources. You could actually ask it for certain job titles. So I only want to see real estate agents who have recently changed companies in the last 6 months, and it will start to create lead forms for you. There's a very elaborate credit pricing system, but incredibly impressive what it's able to extract from using the entire internet. Okay, moving on to mortgage tools. One of the interesting ones that has come on the scene is Perlin. This is a newer company that allows folks to search like a real estate agent. So they can talk to a chatbot, a widget, or a text, and they can say, hey, I'm looking for a house with a great view. And it's able to understand what great view means and look for listings that match that. They can also favorite listings that they like, and it will use AI to come up with a list of rankings and come up with other homes that are similar to what they are looking for. We've also seen a really interesting system called homeowner.ai. This has recently joined the Cotality family. That's CoreLogic's new name, where it can look at pictures of your current home. You can say, I'm thinking about remodeling my kitchen. It will give you AI generated images of what the kitchen will look like. It will estimate what the cost will be. And then you can have it sync up to say, want to start a cash out refinance, want to get a second lien, and then it will put that link back to that lead back to you. And then some goodies on top, website creation. There's lots of tools in this space. SharePoint does this. Wix can do this. You can ask it a prompt. I want you to build out a website to generate leads that ask about home values. You can customize this theme, the site structure, the colors, and the message. 100% free to use. And then if you like it, then you can publish it into a fully responsive website, including blogs, packages, and all that good stuff. And then Make, this is a system I'm dying to experiment with. This is a connector, kind of similar to Zapier, which will say, okay, when this happens in ChatGPT, then I want you to post this on social media or put this in my CRM or make this outbound text message. So it allows you to create sort of these very intricate and complex things. I'm a marketing director, so most of the stuff I'm focusing is on top of funnel, but we are seeing operation systems that are out there. We're seeing this, Friday Harbors in this thing, and there's a lot of other systems in the OCR, PayStug, documentation, verification, tons and tons of software that PRMG is using to become more even efficient, faster, and more effective with their operations. Okay, so woo! Right under the wire. Okay, so if you are not already approved with PRMG, I encourage you to get more information. We've been around for over 20 years. We are built to serve. That's why I wanted to do this class for you guys, because we're always looking to give back and make you more successful. So if you haven't, you can email tpoapproval@prmg.net. Okay, we are a little over time, but I am more than welcome to stick around if anyone has any questions. You're welcome to put them in the Q&A, or if you want to take yourself off mute, you can certainly do that. And I did want to acknowledge before I do that that PRMG's Chief Lending Officer, Kevin Perenio, is on the line. I'm sure you've noticed him and followed him on LinkedIn. KP, I don't know if you have any sort of closing comments for our session today. And he might be on another call. I always tend to put him on the spot. All right, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Otherwise, I hope you all have a really wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for partnering with PRMG and investing in your education. Okay, good question. Where do I start? All right, so let's start at the very beginning. Oh, thank you. I do want to feel better. Okay, so where I would start, if you are looking for assistance, with one of these four guys. And Gemini, you've probably already seen in Google. You can go to ChatGPT. You can just type in ChatGPT, Perplexity.ai, or Claude. These are the four that I would start with just to get comfortable with it. If you have sort of a test or kind of fake Gmail account to create an account with, that's what I did while I was experimenting with it. That might be a good way to just kind of dip your toes in the water. Asking about Grok. Good question. So you can see on this chart, I think Grok is interesting. I did testing in it. I was not impressed with the output compared to the other four. I think it's can be fun, but I wouldn't find it as useful. But if you do, rock and roll. For those asking about copies of the recording, we're going to put it on the PRMG YouTube page. Um, Probably by Monday, you'll see it up on the page, our YouTube channel, so make sure you follow it in the chat. I'm asking if I do one-on-one support. I do not offer that. I'm very blessed to be here at PRMG, and that takes up all of my brain power. But for those of you who are going to be in Sacramento on May 6th, I just got word that I will be presenting at CAMP, the California Association of Mortgage Professionals. They've asked me to do this, so I will be there live and in person and in excellent health. So if you want to grab me and have a conversation at camp, I'll be there, and I'll also be at the Southern California event that is in July. So I'll be available there. We'll also, KP and I will both be at the Mortgage Innovators Conference on May 7th and 8th in Huntington Beach. If you haven't booked your tickets yet, that is really great if you're interested in tech and the future of tech. And for the ladies here, I'll also be at the Empower event on Friday, May 8th, which is going to be a really wonderful event. Good questions. Are there any other videos to help with AI? Oh, that's such a great question. So, I actually, in order to prepare for this class, I studied a lot. Studied for, watched, read articles, watched YouTube videos. And the thing that helped the most was touching all the systems. And since you guys are here, I'll show you at the very end. I didn't share this. Um, so every single one of these systems that I showed here, just clicking on it and seeing what it does. And like with ChatGPT or with OpenArt.ai, using this kind of stuff, Napkin, I'd never used it before. Just practicing it will get your skills the most. But I will say, not all of these will be relevant. You may say, I have no use for 11 Labs. I don't need to do sound. That's not an issue for me. Or you may say, oh, wow, I really need something to help with video scripting and social media posting. So I want to get a social coach account that PRMG can provide for me. There's a lot of goodies in here that you can use. Don't try to do this all at once. Think about the problems that you're trying to solve. If you had to rank, which you should probably do, all the activities you do in a week, just write them down. Maybe next week start tracking and then divide them. Which of these were making me money and which of them were not? And then I would look at all the activities that I spent time on that were not making me money. Maybe you just look at your calendar, review it, and say, could I have used AI to do that? Right? Like I told you about sending happy birthday emails. Is that something I could have automated? Or, I spent a really long time working on this PowerPoint presentation for this new real estate agent office. Maybe Gamma could have helped me with that, and I could have gotten those 3 hours back. So use it to reflect on the administrative, the busy work, the stuff that's taking up your time, that's stressing you out, that's keeping you away from selling loans. That's where you want to look to AI and see how it can save time. It's not just a blank notebook. It's how do I get more efficient? It's just like, man, how many more phone calls could I have done? How many more Chamber of Commerce events could I have attended if I wasn't there? Oh, you were asking about the event for Riverside. Um, Let me get you that information. Thank you for um, oh gosh. Lauren, do you have the sign-in link for that? Because I just know when and where it is, but I don't know if I have the registration link. Well, I can do that. I know this is not ideal. So it's being hosted by our Temecula branch manager, and I can give you his information in the chat. And I think it is for real estate agents who are part of um, the Southwest Riverside County Association of Realtors. That's a mouthful. And it will be 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. It is a lunch and learn. And I'm just going to scroll through these really quick for the purposes of the recording. And I will say for some of them that don't show a free version, a lot of them have a free trial um, that you can try out and see if you want to use. Yeah, I think that was the last one. Okay, any other questions, comments? Awesome. I want to thank each of you for attending today. We're going to go ahead and end the webinar. If you have any more questions about PRMG, please make sure to contact your account executive. It was such a privilege to serve you today, and we'll post this on YouTube next week.